Mini and micro handhelds are fun. We recently had the GKD Pixel. You got the likes of the Funky S, RG28M, which is always a nice one. What else? We got the Q36, various other mini or micro handheld devices, and they are absolutely fun. Very niche, but fun. But when you look at them properly, if you look hard enough, you're always going to find a way to see where they've maybe skimped in certain areas and cut corners to make it small, to make it pocketable. And now we're at a place where we can squeeze in consoles of the likes of the PSP, the Sega Dreamcast, and the N64 into a tiny little form factor, which is the Anbernic RG28XX. This thing is small. Yes, we've seen this processor before in the 35XX devices, well, the pluses in the 2024 versions of it. But this time around, it's a hell of a lot more pocketable. And due to the form factor that we have on here, it's a lot easier to hold. One of the first things you're going to notice upon picking up the 28XX is that we've got some really nice soft touch rounded off corners right there. It is soft to the touch. The plastic materials don't feel half bad as well. The A, B, the X, Y, the D-pad. These buttons are a lot smaller than what you'd normally find on an Anbernic device, especially on other retro handhelds. But it doesn't seem to feel too bad considering the chocolate bar form factor that we have here. Our fingers are spread out enough so that we can get a decent hold on it. And the A, the B, the X, Y buttons, along with the D-pad, they're a lot smaller. Nice and shiny, but they are a lot smaller compared to your conventional retro handheld or those in the Anbernic lineup as well. That also goes for these start and select buttons. The trigger buttons, the L1, R1, L2, R2. The L2 and R2 are a little bit raised, but they're still very easy to reach. But we'll take a look at that a bit more closely. The specs on this thing. So what do we have? So the colors we got. You got gray, you got beige white, you got black transparent, and you've got lava orange. I quite wanted the lava orange, but this is a review unit that came with it. It also came with a little case as well, which is very cool. Let's move on. So the screen, a 2.83-inch IPS full viewing angle, OCA full lamination, 640 by 480 display. The CPU is the same as what we've seen in the Plus and the XXX and the XXX as well, which is a H700 quad-core ARM Cortex A53 at 1.5 gigahertz. The GPU is a dual-core Mali G31 MP2. The RAM, LPDDR4 1 gig. Storage, 64 GB, and obviously you got the expansion slot for SD cards. The system is running on Linux as well, and it plays various multimedias. All of this information that I'm saying right now, you can actually go to the website and check this out for yourself. Also, languages, Chinese, English, Japanese, Korean, Russian, French, German, Spanish, and Portuguese. Good stuff. It's got a high fidelity speaker, cool. Dual card slots that support up to a maximum of 512 GB, which is always good. Now, some differences obviously compared to the 35XX Plus or 2024 version is that the battery is a 31 mAh battery. That's giving you about 8 hours of life, give and take, and this does depend on obviously what you're playing as well. It supports 5-volt charging and other functions. 2.4G wireless and wired controller, HDMI out for TV, and it's got a vibration monitor. What else is on here? USB charging cable that comes with it, which I'll show you. And yeah, that's about it in terms of specs. So a lot of the stuff we've seen already on there before, because of the likes of the 35XXH and the 35XX Plus in the 2024 version. Gosh, there's so many of these things. Yes, it feels like the chip has been done to death, but I think that this has definitely made it a bit more refreshing with regards, because of the form factor that we have here. So what I'm going to do now is compare it to some other devices so you can get a better look at it and see what we get in the box. So here it is, the Anbernic RG28XX. Anbernic have stayed true to their, their black and white, but in this case it's silver around there. I mean, the unboxing is going to be as underwhelming as it always is. We've got the device, the unit is right here. Got your user manual, useful. And you got your USB Type-C cable in there, generic. That's all you need really. So let's take a look at the unit itself. Get a closer look. Let's bring it down a tad. There we go. So here we go. Oh my days. The camera's fallen. Hang on. I'll be back. Oh gosh. All right, we're back. Let me just wipe that down a bit. Luckily, it didn't fall on the display, so we're good. Let's move on. So you got your A, your B, and your X, Y buttons. And your D-pad, you start and you select. The buttons are a lot smaller than what we'd normally have on these retro devices, which I did point out a little bit earlier. But as I say, as soon as you touch it, it is curved on the edges, and it feels pretty nice for the size of the device in your hand. It doesn't feel difficult. Everything there is easy to reach as well. I like what they've done with the speaker grill. I like this form factor. It's, you know, I am very much into my vertical devices, but even with a device this small, it's still not too shabby. You've got your display there, and it's got the bezel around it as well. So at the bottom, you've got your headphone jack, your TF1 and your TF2 slot. So the one that they gave me has a 64 gig SD card in there. That's gonna have its games and the firmware on that one. And then this one will just be for games only. Turn to the side, you've got your power button, and you've got your reset button. Other side, you've got your volume rocker there as well. Along the top, you've got your trigger buttons. So you've got your L1, R1, L2, R2. You've got your DC and OTG out. You've got your LED lights right here for power. Menu, HDMI out or mini HDMI out. Along the back, the model number and what this device is, and information on the battery and stuff. So let's quickly compare this to a couple other devices. RG28M, right next to it there, so you can see the size difference. And as I was saying before, the buttons, the keys on the 28XX is a hell of a lot smaller than our traditional retro handhelds, along with the D-pad as well. So this is it from a top view. So there's that. 35XXH, massive differences in size right there. I mean, just take a look at the display. And again, 35XXH is a really nice device, and that feels pretty nice as well to hold. But it's all about the 28XX at the moment. Has the same power as what's in here. It's just missing the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth. And then from the top, you can see there in terms of thickness differences. Let's zoom out a bit just so we can get an idea of what sizes in case you haven't got those devices. This is it next to a Game Boy Color. Thickness difference there as well. The old Game & Watch. The Game & Watch is going to be a lot thinner as well, as you can see here. And just for a bit more perspective, I'm sure at some point everybody's had a PSP, and there's the differences here. There you go, the PSP is a hell of a lot more chunkier. All right, so let's power this bad boy on. There we go, we're on, LEDs on, displays here as well. Stuff out of the way. And as I say, the power is exactly the same as what we find on the 35XX plus versions and H. So we're not going to miss anything in terms of power there. So we've all seen this before. If you've seen the 35XX line of devices, or the pluses, excuse me, this will look familiar. So you've got your games room, where if you press A, you'll go into it, and then you have your list of systems here. And if you're not really feeling that, you also can use the RA games right here, which will show you some of these emulators that weren't in the previous option, such as Dreamcast, PSP. Let's get a bit closer still. And you've got all your systems here as we go down. And then you've got your apps, which allow you to do some other features as well. We'll come out of that. You've got your favorites that you can set. Here you've got your history. Then you've got your search functions. So if you wanted to look up something like Pokemon, anything with that in its name, it's going to populate on the other side here, so you can see which games you want to then select. Got your app center, got music, video, ebooks, although I do not know why anybody would want to read on a display like this. That's just asking for headaches. File manager and expert down here as well. Then we've got our settings. So you've got your battery, lock screen, backlight and brightness, IO test, date and time, language settings, RetroArch settings, icon settings, background settings, button sound, button customs. You can clear your records, your firmware that you're on, work light status during sleep, reboot, and you've got your shutdown key here. So I guess all there's left to do is to just get into some gaming. Okay, so you know how we always start off. We'll get into some Street Fighter. Let's go. Maybe not Ryu. We'll do Ken this time. We don't really get to see Ken. Sound quality is pretty good. It's not too bad. And I've not had to mess around with the lighting settings as well either. Let's go. Green Ken. Fireballs seem to be decent enough. They're working combos. Come on, Ibuki, give me a chance to show the people. Jesus. Alright, let's get some Dreamcast going with some House of the Dead 2. It's sounding decent. The colours look great, vibrant.
We're meeting G over there.
All right, let's go.
Please be safe, G.
Wait. Wait.
How could anyone do this?
And obviously there's been no tweaks done. First time playing it. Bit jumpy. But it does look clean. Oh, it's not too bad. Okay, maybe it's got to load a little bit. Okay, so that seems really nice. It's actually, once it gets going, it's playing all right. Not too shabby. Don't think about playing a Game Boy game, surely. Castlevania Adventure. Listen, I love the way that the quality of the Game Boy display is just nice, you know. So yeah, the Anbernic RG28XX. It is a small, slim, sleek, pocketable little powerhouse. That's what I'm gonna call it. Easy to pick up and take around anywhere. It's actually pretty decent for first time users when it comes to emulation as well. Get them real familiar, so that's always good. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can grab yourself one and find out more information. I do believe that in the allotted time that it has on the website, you should be able to get, I believe it's $4 off or some kind of discount anyway. So be sure to go check that out. Guys, I'm gonna leave it right there. Questions, comments and concerns, get active, take care, stay safe, and peace.